Dumb ways to die. So, are we okay? Are we okay? Annie, are we okay? Annie, are we okay? Are we okay? Annie, are we okay? Annie, are we okay? Are we? Yeah, okay, we're good. We're good. Sound alerts. It seems like your sound alerts. It's not working. Who's Mr. Destructo? Is that someone on like Twitch's end doing something? Pop out that chat. But that happened just as we started up the stream. I don't think that someone joined as soon as we started up the stream. Like, I doubt it. Let's go view this on Twitch. See if we can find out more information from Twitch. I don't do it. I don't do Twitch. I do YouTube. I just also break. We good? Okay. I'm just gonna start up the game. That way it doesn't close on us again. Okay, I think Mr. Destructo bot. I think it's just like a little character. So we're good. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think that's anything. I think we're good. Is there a react button? Love it. Cool. Okay. Cool. Cool. I don't have to pay attention to that. So who won't? Though it does say 12 following on Twitch instead of 9? Whoa. Fastest going platform, though. However, in the last 2 weeks, I have lost subscribers on the YouTube channel because I keep doing it. And it's not very great content. We're just reading a book. And guess what we're doing today? We're reading another book. And then guess what we'll probably do after that? Camp Rock, we'll probably be reading another book. Check your encoder, keyframe intervals, recommended. Okay, that's good stuff, good stuff. We're here, we're there. We're kind of everywhere. Oh, okay. Okay, let's go. I think it's going to be a quick 40-minute stream. Or at least it takes 40 minutes to get through these books. So it's going to be a quick, like, 50-minute stream. I'm going to... Either I sit way back here, or I sit up here and then turn my camera up. Probably this. My ears are so important. You must see my ears. They're so cool. They're just a little crooked. See if we can fix that gravity issue. I have pressed the Annie button. Let's go. I don't have anything to drink today, so we're just gonna have to hope that I don't die. That'd be nice. Got a shower, as you can see. My laundry's in the wash, even though it's not this week's laundry, it's last week's laundry that I put in the wash and then never finished. So, you know, there's that on that. Talos is the hero of mankind, whose worship is banned in the Empire. Woof. Right. We're back at our library, which is this one cupboard. The Real Barenziah number 5 by Anonymous. Okay. From where we left off last time, I think Barenziah's just happy. She had like 2 kids with I think her husband. I think that both kids are her husband because I don't think she ever slept with the charmer Nightingale. There's a chance that first kid is Nightingale's because like she made some mention. It was like, yeah, maybe I got pregnant so quickly because he was super fertile because he wasn't a half elf. He wasn't a dark elf like this. But at least the daughter is definitely theirs, so we're good. I think she's just happy. She has bobbies now. She's like at least a century old. Probably like at least, I want to say like at least a century and a half old at this point, alright? And we've followed her since she was born, so you know. The last book we covered a lot of timeline. We covered from her like at 20 years old to 150. We covered a lot. Here we go! As Schmakus had predicted, the theft of the Staff of Chaos had a few short-term consequences. The current emperor, Uriel Septim, and some rather stiff messages expressing shock and displeasure at the staff's disappearance, and urging Schmakus to make every effort to locate its whereabouts and to communicate developments to the new appointed Imperial Battle Mage, Jargo. Is it Yargle? Do they pronounce the J? Yargle Tharn, whose hands in the matter had been placed. Tharn! Schmakus thundered in disgust and frustration as he placed about the small chamber where Barenziah, now some months pregnant, was sitting serenely, embroidering a baby blanket. Barenziah's pregnant. I don't know how long the Dark Elves are pregnant, alright? Yargle Tharn, indeed. I wouldn't give him directions for crossing the street, not if he were a doddering old blind sot. What have you against him, love? I just don't trust that mongrel elf. Part dark elf, part high elf, and part gods only knows what. And the worst quality of all is his combined bloods, I warrant, he snorted. No one knows much about him. Claims he was born in the southern Valen wood, of a wood elven mother. Seems to have everyone's sense. Seems to have been everywhere since. How much you want to take a bet right now that that is Nightingale? Alright, mixed elven blood? Sounds like Nightingale. Barenziah, sunk in the contempt and lassitude of pregnancy, had only been humoring Schmakus thus far. But now she suddenly dropped her needlework and looked at him. Something had pinned her interest. Schmakus, could this Jarl Thame have been the Nightingale disguised? Barenziah and I are on the same fluffin' page. Schmakus thought this over before replying. Nay, my love, human blood seems to be one of the missing components in the Tharn's ancestry. In Tharn's ancestry. To Schmakus, Barenziah knew, that was a flaw. Her husband despised wood elves as lazy thieves and high elves as effeminate intellectuals. But he admired humans, especially Brentons, for the combination of pragmatism, intelligence, and energy. The Nightingales of Ebonheart, of Rathim clan, House Halu. It's like Hlalu. It's almost like a Lalu, but with an H. It's Hlalu. The House of Moral, in particular, I'll be bound. That house has had human blood in it since her time. Ebonheart was jealous that the staff was laid there when Sibber Temptum took the horn of summoning from us. Barenziah sighed a little. The rivalry between Ebonheart and Mournhold reached back almost to the dawn of Morrowind's history. Okay, so Morrowind is definitely like a country, and I think Mournheart is a city in the country. I thought that Morrowind was another territory, was like another city, like in between Whiterun and Mournhold, which is like this other city, Morrowind. No, I think like it's the whole area where they are. Once the two nations had been won, and all the lucrative mines held in reef by the Rathims, whose nobility retained the high kingship of Morrowind. Ebonheart had split into two separate city-states, Ebonheart and Mournhold, where Queen Lion's twin sons, grandsons of the legendary King Moralen. I always think that Moralen is just like that's a girl's name. Were left as joint heirs. At about the same time of office, the High King was vacated in favor of a temporary war leader to be named by the council in times of provincial emergency. I'm reading these words, but I'm not quite sure that I know what's going on. It's like, yeah, these are things, like, Ebonheart has come up a bunch of times, and, like, I've not kept up with all the facts about Ebonheart. It's just going, out of my mouth and out of my brain. Ebonheart remained jealous of her prerogatives. As the eldest city-state of Morrowind, the first among equals was the phrase its rulers often quoted. More equal than others. And claimed that rightful guardianship of the Staff of Chaos should have been entrusted to its ruling house. Mournhold responded that King Merlin himself had placed the staff in the keeping of the god Ethin, and Mournhold was unarguably the god's birthplace. Why not tell Jarl Tharn of your suspicions then? Let him recover the thing. As long as it's safe, what does it matter who recovers it, or where it lies? Schmeickisch stared at her without comprehension. It matters, he said softly after a while, but I suppose not that much. Aye, he added, certainly not enough for you to concern yourself further with it. You just sit there and tend to your, as he smiled at her wickedly, embroidery. Just you sit there and just be pregnant. Like, thanks dude. Thanks, Schmeickisch. Barenziah flung the sampler at him. It hit Schmeickisch square in the face, needle, thimble, and all. She's just like, how dare you? I am trying my best on this embroidery. How dare you? A few more months, Barenziah gave birth to a fine son, who they named Helseth. Nothing more was heard of the Staff of Chaos or of Nightingale. If Evanhart had the staff in his possession, they certainly did not boast of it. The years passed swiftly and happily. Helseth grew tall and strong. He was much like his father, whom he worshipped. When Helseth was 8 years old, Barenziah bore a second child, a daughter, to Schmeickisch's lasting delight. Helseth was his pride, but little Morgia, named after Schmeickisch's mother, held his heart. Like, we love a king who loves his daughter. Sadly, the birth of Morgia was not the harbinger of better times ahead. Relationship with the Empire slowly deteriorated, for no apparent reason. Taxes were raised, and quotas increased with each passing year. Schmeickisch felt that the Emperor suspected him of having a hand in the staff's disappearance, and sought to prove his loyalty by making every effort to comply with the escalating demands. He lengthened the working hours and raised tariffs, and even made up some of the difference from both the royal exchequer and their own private holdings. But the levies multiplied, and commoners and nobles alike began to complain. It was an ominous rumble. I want you to take the children and journey to the imperial city, Schmeickisch said at last in desperation one evening after dinner. You must make the Emperor listen, else all Mournhold will be up in revolt come spring. He grinned forcibly. You have a way with men, love. You always have. It's like, we love a man who thinks his wife is hot. Barenziah forced a smile with a frown. Even with you, I take it. Yes, especially with me, he acknowledged amiably. Both children? Barenziah looked towards the corner window, where Helseth was strumming a lute and cooing a duet with his little sister. We love some kids who like each other. Helseth was 15 by now, then Morgul 8. They might soften his heart. Besides, it's high time Helseth was presented before the imperial court. Perhaps, but that's not your true reason. Barenziah took a deep breath and grasped the nettle? It's not the needle, it's the nettle. You don't think that you can keep them safe here. And if that's the case, then you're not safe here either. Come with us, she urged. He took her hand in his. Barenziah, my love, heart of my heart, if I leave now, there will be nothing for us to return you to. Don't worry about me. I'll be all right. Who's betting money on he's going to be all right? Who's betting money that he's not going to be all right? I could take care of myself, and I could do it better if I'm not worrying about you or the children. Barenziah laid her head against his chest. Just remember that we need you. I need you. We could do without the rest of it. We can do without the rest of it if we have each other. Empty hands and empty bellies are easier to bear than an empty heart. She started to cry, thinking of Nightingale and that sordid business with the staff. My foolishness has brought us to this pass. He smiled at her tenderly. If so, 'tis not a bad place to be. His eyes rested indulgently on their children. None of us shall ever go without, or for want of anything. Ever, my love, I promise you. I cost you everything once, Barenziah. I and Tiber Septim. Without my aid, the empire would have never begun. I helped it rise. His voice hardened. I can bring about its fall. You may tell Uriel Septim that, and that my patience is not infinite. Barenziah gasped. Schmakus was not given to empty threats. She'd no more imagined that he would ever turn against the Empire than that the old house wolf lying in the gate would turn on her. Aw, it's a house wolf? It's not a puppy. It's not a dog. It's a house wolf? Love it. How? She demanded breathlessly, but he shook his head. Better you not know, he said. Just tell him what I have told you. Should he prove reluctant? And do not fear. He's septum enough that he will not take it out on the messenger. He smiled grimly. For if he does, if he ever harms at the least hair on you, my love, or the children, so help me all the gods of Tamel, he'll pray that he hadn't been born. I'll burn him down, him and his entire family, and I won't rest until the lapsed septum is dead. The red dark elven eyes of Schmakish gleamed brightly in the ebbing firelight. I plight you that oath, my love, my queen, my Barenziah. Ooh, if anyone ever called me my Kayla, Niagara Falls. Barenziah held him as tight as she could. But in spite of the warmth in his embrace, she couldn't help shivering. She was like, no, don't die! Barenziah stood before the Emperor's throne, trying to explain Mournhold's straits. She waited weeks for an audience with Uriel Septim, and having been fobbed off this pretext or that. His Majesty is indisposed, and urgent matter demands His Excellency's attention. I am sorry, Your Highness, there must be some terrible mistake. Your appointment is for next week. No, see, and now, it wasn't even going well. The Emperor had not even made the slightest pretense of listening to her. He hadn't invited her to sit, nor had he dismissed the children. Helseth stood as still as a carven image, but little Morgaya had begun to fuss. Does Uriel Septim also get his great-great-great-grandfather's voice of she? Does he get to be she too? The state of her own mind didn't help her any. Shortly upon her arrival at her lodgings, the Mournholdian ambassador of the imperial city had demanded entry, bringing with him a sheaf of dispatches from Schmakus. Bad news, and plenty of it. The revolt had finally begun. The peasants had organized around a few disgruntled members of Mournhold's minor nobility, and were demanding Schmakus step down and hand over the reins of the government. Only the Imperial Guard and a handful of troops whose families had been retainers of Barenziah's house for generations stood with Schmakus and the rabble. Hostilities had already broken out, but apparently Schmakus was safe and still in control. Not for long, he wrote. He entreated Barenziah to try her best with the Emperor, but in any case she was to stay in the imperial city until he wrote to her it was safe to go back home with the children. She tried to barge her way through the imperial bureaucracy, with little success, and to add to her growing panic, all the news from Mournhold had come to a sudden stop. No! Tottering between rage and, at the Emperor's numerous major domos domos, and fear of the fate awaiting her and her families. The weeks had passed by tensely, agonizingly, remorselessly. Then one day, the Mornholdian ambassador came calling to tell her that she should expect news from Schmakus the following night at the latest, not through the regular channels, but by Nighthawk. Seemingly by the same stroke of luck, she was informed that the same day by a clerk of the imperial court, the Uriel Septim had finally consented to grant her an audience early on the morrow. Whew, okay. A lot of things are gonna happen. We're gonna get that letter, and that's gonna really affect what we're gonna tell the emperor in the morning. The emperor had greeted the three of them when they had come into the audience chamber with a too bright smile of welcome that nonetheless didn't reach his eyes. It's like, she's like a real smile. Big smile doesn't reach the eyes. Then, as she presented her children, he gazed at them with a fixed attention that was real, yet somehow inappropriate. Barenziah had been dealing with humans for nearly 500 years now. She's old! Oh my goodness, she's old! And developed the skill of reading their expressions and movements that were far beyond what any human could ever perceive. Try as the emperor might to conceal it, there was a hunger in his eyes, and something else. Regret? Yes, regret. But why? He had several fine children of his own. Why covet hers? Why the look at her with such vicious, however brief, yearning? Perhaps he had tired of his consort. Humans were notorious, though predictably, inconsistent. After one long, burning glance, his gaze had shifted away as she began to speak of her mission and the violence that had erupted in Mournhold. He sat still as a stone throughout the entire account. Puzzled by his inertia and vexed no one, Barenziah stared into this pale, set face, looking for some trace of the Septim she had known in the past. She did not know Uriel Septim well, having met him once when he was still a child, and then again at the coronation 20 years later. Twice, that was all. He had been a stern and dignified presence at the ceremony, even as a young adult, yet not icily remote as this more mature man was. Yet not icily remote as this more mature man was. In fact, despite the physical resemblance, he didn't seem to be the same man at all. Not the same, yet somehow about him was familiar to her, more familiar than it should be. Some trick of posture or gesture. Hey, yo, is that Nightingale? Woof. Suddenly, she felt very hot, as if lava had been poured over her. Illusion! She had studied the arts of illusion well since Nightingale had deceived her so badly. Hello? I'm reading a book. Come in. No one's here.
There's another one just like this down in the garage.
I don't think so, because it sanctions off sections like this. Yeah. Depends on what this is. Oh, is this the colors you were showing me?
Yeah, this is another one.
Maybe? These are kind of the powders of like something I had just gotten. Do you not want it?
No, I'm asking you if you want it.
Is it just gonna go to Katarina if I say no?
Correct.
Okay, then I'll keep it. Thanks.
Oh, that cart. That's a stand.
Yes. Okay. We got Barenziah, who's married to Schmakus, and Nightingale might actually be the emperor, and that's why Nightingale is staring at her children so hard, because those children might be like somehow related to Nightingale. Even though we don't think that they ever slept together. We're pretty sure that both the children are Schminkuses. But maybe Nightingale's having regrets. Nightingale's not great. He just tricked her along and then stole the Staff of Chaos, which isn't great. Now there's a rebel in the city. She's like at the Emperor saying, hey, can you stop putting taxes on our city, please? Because like people are about to rebel and that's bad. And her husband has just sent her to the Imperial City to go like, hey, first of all, go plead the Emperor, and also get out of here. There might be a revolt soon. And now there's a revolt happening, and she's kind of stopped getting letters from her home, and she's like, oh no, my husband dead. That would suck.
Are you streaming right now?
Yep.
And people can see all this garbage behind you?
Barely. I don't know where to put most of these things. Some of it's trash easily. And that's just what's happened in this book. There have been 5 of them in this series. I love you. You're doing great.
In another event that graphics released.
Yeah, I don't know what advice to give you.
There's no advice to give except for my brain should give. I've now had 4 ibuprofen and my headache is at least gone.
Okay. I'm glad. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Well, now we just gotta get Katarina driving, and then you can quit one of your jobs.
And in the meantime, we have a 400-person conference that I have to find space for next week, even though we had to be on for 8 months.
You've been on it for 4 days?
Since Monday, yes.
Yeah, you're doing great.
And I still have to fill out the speakers for the June meeting.
Ugh.
I'm about half of them.
Yeah.
I just hate asking the same people over and over again.
Hey, think you
But-
wanna fill out the form now?
I asked the steering committee for suggestions, and no freaking person responded.
That's so rude. Maybe they didn't have any suggestions.
And a certain person, of whom I shall not mention, who never responds to anything, has not responded to me in a week about an area that he should be supplying a speaker for.
Woof. I promise you, there is going to be exactly 0 overlap from the people who are not on right now and anyone in your field. You can speak Home freely. I promise you.
I promise you.
There is no way.
Never know, and I will not be doing that.
Okay.
But I may ask that certain student of whom instructed 3 of your classes that you would like to cover that portion.
We love her!
But I had to ask him first.
Yeah.
My brain hurts.
I don't know how to buy a car with $5,000 or $6,000.
There are ways, but it would be better if you had $8,000 or $9,000.
That's not gonna happen till like August, September.
It could have happened sooner if I hadn't just spent $100 to buy a car.
And I could have bought that car.
To toss you a few.
Yeah, and a dad can toss me a few as well. I just had to spend.
I would rather you spend 8 or 9,000 on Carmax.
I don't think I can get 8 or 9,000 from CarMax. I think I need at least 10 or 11 from CarMax.
And Fiats.
Ooh, Fiats. Let's take a little trippy over. I wonder, can I put on we're spending 8 or 9. Let's see if there's any mini coupes. Oh yeah, the mini coupes are 12. That's what I was looking at. Subaru. I don't hate Amelia's shape as much as I thought I would. She's not as Sarkovan.
She's more of a crossover.
She's not. Yeah, she's not as Sarkovan as I thought she would be. You said Fiats? Ugh.
You like Fiat?
Yeah, but then Fiats just led me down the road to Mini Coupe, and we love a Mini Coupe.
You spelled it right. You spelled it.
Yeah.
Fiat is not spelled T. It's spelled. Do you know how to remember how to spell Fiat?
Fiat.
Okay, but it's,
Fix and
it's Italian.
fix it again, Tony.
Fix it again, Tony.
The first one it's showing is
Okay.
11.
Where are you looking? Are you looking at cola or are you looking at?
I haven't put in any filters. Search by lowest price. Put in Fiat. 11K.
Okay, they've gone up. What is that right underneath it?
Another Fiat.
Oh.
Mitsubishi.
Look at Abarth. A-B-A-R-T-H.
Oh, sure. 13.
Well, I know.
So yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying. Like I at this rate, I have to save for a year. I just spent $1,000 on a cruise, so I'm down to like 4.5 to my next paycheck.
Something will come up, okay?
Right? And like I'm not worried. I'm just trying to figure out the puzzle of how to do it. I'm not worried because I'm like, oh yeah, things are around if I need them. I believe in you. See if Katarina can get as many online classes as possible.
No, she has to. No.
Okay.
Her personality, she needs to go in person and be held accountable by the teacher.
She also needs to just be like a responsible human.
She needs to. Well, now that we finally got her medication, she's still missing a medication. She's got a doctor's appointment coming up for them to take her with her other. Yeah, please don't put me.
It's not you, it's Doggy. Yeah, you're totally off. Yeah, you were off camera anyways. So yeah, I'm not worried. I would like to just start driving Amelia as soon as possible. I want to delay Katarina, but like I also realize that Katarina needs it. But I want it more. Yeah, I pitched it to that, the idea of, oh, what? Oh, okay. I thought this, I'm like, Lulu just shedded a lot. No, it's the horsehair. Wolfie, come here. I pitched Dad the idea of me funding the extra insurance until, and he hasn't gotten back, but you know, the idea of Swiss Peach. Well, he's gonna fund it anyways. Yeah, I'm glad that it is actually making a difference. I'm not totally sold that everything that you're gonna go through is actually gonna fit in them. Um,
You did. I can show you a picture of how much trash even though they didn't take all of the trash, how much they actually did take.
okay.
Because I added more stuff out there.
Yeah, if you ever need just like some big haul days, as long as it's warm outside, I'm here to remake the garage. I like doing that.
Well, next to the second cabinet I just put in, there's a bunch of your stuff. There's a box that says Kayla, and there's a couple of trays.
Yeah, so those are toys that I packed up whenever I was told we were going to Alabama, and then I've not opened. I don't want to open them because I'm pretty sure there's things with faces in that. Toys with faces, which makes them alive, which makes me feel guilty for abandoning such things. So,
But they could be smiling at somebody else.
I don't want to open the box because ADHD apparently also comes with loss of object permanence. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist to me. I don't want to see what exists in those boxes.
Okay.
If I don't remember it, it's not that important. I'd rather it just be.
But they might also be pictures.
I don't need them. That's fine. If I don't worry, I've got pictures of other things somewhere else. Okay, you can feel free to go through it. I don't want to see what's in it. Just
Actually, what's left over there now, a lot of those boxes are your dad's stuff.
yeah. Head killing. I'm sorry.
I still use them.
I'm sorry.
But luckily, I could just take a lot of the content from the newsletter that just went out today.
Yeah. I think I should be not your assistant, but like if I could learn the skills of what you do, that could be useful. Cause like Web Devil, coming from the point of view of someone who failed a cryptology class, is pretty easy.
But the money is there.
Exactly, and like I should learn to do it, and I should just be your assistant in it. Okay, I should be your intern. I should have like responsibilities that I do every week. I would love to learn also how to market stuff. I should be your intern, unpaid intern, but working.
You mean unpaid intern?
You buy my Chick-fil-A. That's all I got.
And
That those are my perks. Those are my stipend.
I buy a little more than your Chick-fil-A.
Oh, you definitely buy a little bit more than my Chick-fil-A. Do you know that the Starbucks is inside Target give you free refills because they're of Target Starbucks rules instead of Starbucks rules. So as long as you're sharpening that Target, free refills. So, when's the next time you need to go to Target? October? Probably.
I ship shop most of my Target stuff.
I know. Big Sag. Well, if we ever need to redecorate something in Target style, I'm on your gal. I'm just chugging chai teas.
If I can't find it on Amazon, it doesn't exist.
I know, Big Sag. Next time you feel like, in-person shopping whenever the weather gets better, I'm your gal. Once you have some free time. Grace. Cousin? Baby, a second cousin?
Is in Mean Girls.
Okay.
She's playing Katie, the mathlete, and it's this weekend.
Hey, yo.
Do you want to go see Grace?
In Hilton Head? Fort Mill, which is above Hilton Head.
Yeah, Hilton Head is
Way farther down.
South Carolina.
Where's Buford?
Hilton Head and Buford are down here. Fort Mill is up here.
Okay.
Fort Mill's up by Carowinds.
Up by Carowinds?
Yeah. Where Aunt Jewel and
On the other side. Okay, got it.
where Aunt Jewel and Uncle Lemuel live.
I have no idea on the map where they live. We just sometimes go see them somewhere.
South Carolina shaped like this.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a triangle.
Yeah, what's in your hand is a circle at best.
Well, my finger's there.
Okay.
Okay?
Pretty awful, but
South
okay.
Carolina's in the middle. We are actually 13 miles from the geographic center.
Columbia is in the middle.
Okay. Low country would be Beaufort, Bluffton,
Mhm.
Hilton Head.
Okay. We might take a Beaufort trip eventually.
Up here,
Carowinds.
you're going straight up the state on I-77.
Yeah.
So you're getting to Rock Hill and Fort Mill.
Yeah.
And then if you keep going, you're right on the line. You get to Carowinds.
Yeah, because Carowinds is like it's kind of in the middle of the top line.
Yeah, because half of Carowinds is in South Carolina, half of it's in North Carolina.
But it's also in the middle of the top line. Okay. Maybe. You wanna?
Because she's a senior, this will be less chance to see.
No. Grace. Oh, not Gloria. Not a part of the new popping babies generation. Grace.
Heather's
Caleb and
daughter,
Grace.
Not
Yes.
Holly's.
Yes. That's what okay. Holly is in Hilton Head.
Bluffton.
There we go. Got it.
Heather.
I might be done.
I mean, Caleb is just finishing it. Caleb is in his second semester of college.
Yeah, because he's with Katarina. Yagi is all curled up. She saw you. Yagi. You like me? You like me?
She said, no, I want you to go to my bed.
The Bobby Bobs? Are you a spoiled cookie?
She said,
Does your feet smell like Doritos? Maybe it's my feet that smell like Doritos and I'm just blaming it on you.
There's a lady on the board of Facebook that said, cut it. It's like,
No!
you don't cut her little crunchy toes. Other people in the group was like, no,
Don't do that. It's weird.
Grinch toes are what they're all kind of, everybody's kind of agreed on Grinch toes. And you don't cut it.
Alright. You gonna help Mama get down the stairs? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
If you ever turn on the moon
Like once? Not really.
and
It's cute. I should turn it on more.
she just had to get me.
Yeah.
Get Kayla.
Ooh, that's another axis.
Get Kayla. Get Kayla.
Alright.
Get Kayla kisses.
Mama's gotta go downstairs. You gotta get Mama. You gotta get Mama. You get Mama.
Come on, Nasty. Nasty! I love you too. Hi, bye.
Alright, loves.
Love.
I think I'm gonna go out to the porch in a little bit to soak up some good weather. I'll probably sleep outside tonight because it's just a bit hot in here and it doesn't like dissipate heat in here very quickly. You got this.
Oh, my knees.
Oh,
Oh, that was not pleasant.
you're free to join me in the lounge whenever you want.
Me? What?
Yep, feel free to join me in this lounge whenever you want. My lounge.
It's too dirty.
No, what? No, where? I'll clean it up.
We got piles of clothes.
Okay.
Piles of things and piles
Dirty
of
clothes. Yeah, I don't know where to put most of the things on my desk. But my floor is clean. Except for the dirty clothes on the floor right there.
Well, that 2 foot by 2 foot area is clean.
This floor, I work so hard to keep this clean.
This is not clean.
This is clean.
Okay.
I might be down with that.
I have ideas. Make it more New York loft. With distinct zones.
Yeah. Gotta get rid of that thing.
More studio apartment type thing. Okay, you gotta get some big boys.
Right?
To carry it downstairs. That's the big problem. I think.
I'm moving it around my room. I used my chair. I popped it up on the chair and was able to push it.
No, okay, you gotta have some boys. And to have some boys, you gotta have some clean space.
Pretty clean.
Alright, you gotta get some of your boys.
Yeah, I know. Loves.
Why do you know us in the industry his name?
Adelaide? I just like the name, so I wrote it down.
I think that's a PT. Person who very public institute.
Huh. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it say Mr. Banks.
Loves.
Go. Hey, Caleb. You gonna get Caleb? You're not going to get Caleb. Alright, let's stop.
We're a Lifetime podcast. Part-time, we read books. Part-time, my mom comes in and we get distracted for 20 minutes. Been a while. We're a real-time. Real-time. Okay. Change my camera angle. Did you see that? That's another thing that I can just turn it on. It's another axis I didn't think I had. Because I had this axis. I kind of have this axis, but that rotates in all the degrees. So I just want to turn it like this. I can. That's cool. Move my mic. Alright, let's get to where we were. Suddenly, okay, yeah. So that would understand his longing look at the children. It's like, the life I gave away. Those children could be mine. Meanwhile, stole the Staff of Chaos. Unless he was under a mind control spell. Okay. Illusion. She had studied the art of illusion well since Nightingale had deceived her so badly. She learned how to detect it, and she felt it now, as certain as a blind man could feel the sun on his face. Illusion! But why? Her mind worked furiously, even as her mouth went on reciting details about Mournhold's troubles. Vanity? Humans were often ashamed of the signs of aging, as elves were proud of exhibiting them. Yet the face Uriel Septim wore seemed consistent with his age. Barenziah dared to use none of her own magic. Even petty nobles had means of detecting magicka, and not actually shielding themselves from it, if not actually shielding itself from its effects within their own halls. The use of sorcery here would bring down the Emperor's wrath as surely as drawing a dagger would. Magic. Illusion. Suddenly she was brought to the mind of Nightingale, and then he was sitting before her. Then the vision changed, and it was Uriel Septim. He looked sad, trapped. And then the vision faded once more, and another man sat in his place, like the Nightingale, and yet unalike. Dark skin, bloodshot eyes, elven ears, and about him a fierce glow of concerned malice, an aura of enriched energy, a horrible destructive shimmer. This man was capable of anything. What? And then once again, she was looking into the face of Uriel Septim. How could she be so sure that she wasn't imagining things? Perhaps her mind was playing tricks on her. She felt a sudden vast weariness, as if she had been carrying a heavy burden too long and too far. She decided to abandon her earnest narrative of Mournhold's ills, as if it... Okay, there's just like a little spot on the background of the page that's making that first L look like a T, as it was quite plainly getting her nowhere, and switched back to pleasantry. Pleasantry, however, with a hidden agenda. Do you remember, sire, Schmakish and I had dinner with your family shortly after your father's coronation? You were no older than a tiny Morgia here. We were greatly honored to be the only guests that evening, except for your friend Justin, of course. Ah, yes, the Emperor said, smiling courteously. Very courteously. I do believe I recall that. You and Justin were such friends, Your Majesty. I told he died not long after that. A great pity. Indeed, I still do not like to speak of him. His eyes turned blank. It turned blank, or blanker if that had been possible. I just saw a message come in. Who is it? Hey, yo, zombie, you are joining in halfway through the last book in the series. You are just like turning in as like Dobby dies kind of spot. Quite honestly, Taylor, I couldn't recap. So much has happened. So much has happened. I could not recap. I apologize. But I'm glad you're here. Come and join us for the last bit of a bedtime story. You and Justin were still friends. His eyes turned blank, or blanker if that was even possible. As for your request, milady, we shall take it under advisement and let you know. Barenziah bowed, as did the children. A nod from the Emperor dismissed them, and they backed away from the Imperial presence. She took a deep breath as they emerged from the throne room. Justin had been an imaginary playmate, although young Uriel had insisted that a place be set for Justin at every meal. Not only that, Justin, despite the boyish name, had been a girl. Schmakus had kept up the joke as long as she had gone the way of imaginary childhood friends. Who's she? Schmakus had kept up the joke long after she had gone the way of imaginary friends. Got it. Acquiring after Julian's health whenever he and Uriel Septim met, and being responded to as in a mock serious of fashion. Okay. The last Barenziah had heard of Justin, several years ago, the Emperor had evidently joked and elaborately to Schmakus that she had met an adventurous though incorrigible Khajiit youth, married him, and settled down in Liladril to raise fire ferns and mugwort. My imaginary friend got married and is now an herbalist. I mean, like, that's what I do, except that imaginary friend is me. The man sitting on the Emperor's divan was not Uriel Septim. The nightingale? Could it be? Yes! A chord of recognition ran through her, and Barenziah knew she was right. It was him! It was the nightingale! Ta-da! Masquerading as the Emperor. Schmakus had been wrong, so wrong. What now, she wondered frantically. What had become of Uriel Septim? And more to the point, what did it mean for her and Schmakus and all of Mournhold? Thinking back, Barenziah guessed that their troubles were due to the false Emperor, this nightingale-spawned glamour, or whatever he really was. He must have taken Uriel Septim's place shortly before the unreasonable demands of Mournhold had begun. That would explain why their relations had deteriorated for so long, as humans reckon time. Long after her disapproved liaison with Tiber Septim, the nightingale knew of Schmakus. How did you get in? The door is closed! Why are you on the computer? Ladies and gentlemen, cats. Come me. You want to be pets? You better come me. You are on my recording table, ma'am. Come me. I can't see the book anymore. You are in between me and the television. Kitten. I understand that that is the flattest place you could get to. However, very inconvenient for me, and also you can't lay down there. If you laid down, I could see over you. What's up? What's up, kitten? I'm gonna have to move you. Up, there you go. Okay. Thanks for visiting. Off she goes. Alright, bye. I guess that means my room is open. I'm gonna go close that. Hey, get out of here. Get out of here. Look at me, wearing pants. I do every time, I promise you. Let me settle back in. There we go. Okay. That would explain the relations deteriorated. The Nightingale knew of Schmekish's famed loyalty to and knowledge of the Septim House, and was effecting a preemptive strike. If that was the case, they were all in terrible danger. She and the children were in his power here in the Imperial City, and Schmekis was left alone to deal with the troubles of Nightingale's brewings in Mournhold. What must she do? Barenziah impelled the children ahead of her, a hand on each shoulder, trying to stay cool, collected. Her ladies-in-waiting and her tire woman and personal knight escort trailing behind. Finally, they reached their waiting carriage. Even though their suite of rooms was only a few blocks from the palace, royal dignity forbade travel on foot for even short distances, and for once, Barenziah was glad of it. The carriage seemed a kind of refuge now, false as she knew the feeling must be. A boy dashed up to one of the guards and handed him a scroll, then pointed towards the carriage. The guard brought it to her. The boy waited, eyes wide and shining. The epistle was brief and complimentary, and simply inquired if King Eadwire of Wayrest, of the province of High Rock, might be granted an audience with the famed Queen Barenziah of Mournhold, as he had heard much of her, and would be pleased to make her acquaintance. Is he real, or is he an assassin? Place your bets now before I turn the page again. Barenziah's first impulse was to refuse. She wanted only to leave the city. Certainly she had no inclination towards, any dalliance? It's not alliance, it's dalliance. With a dazzled human. She looked up, frowning, and with one of the guards said, "Milady, the boy says his master waits for your reply yonder." She looked in the direction indicating, and saw a handsome elderly man on horseback, surrounded by half a dozen courtiers and cavalry. She caught the eye and bowed respectfully, taking off a plumed hat. He took off his plumed hat. "Very well," Barenziah said to the boy on impulse. "Tell your master that he may call on me tonight after the dinner hour." King Eadwire looked polite and grave, and rather worried, but not in the least love-struck. At least that was something, she thought pensively. Barenziah stood at the tower window waiting. She could sense a familiar's nearness. Like someone familiar to her, or like a witch friend, a witch pet. Though the night sky was clear as day to her eyes, she could not see him yet. Then suddenly he was there, a swift-moving dot beneath the wispy night clouds. A few more minutes, and the great nighthawk finished its descent, wings folded, talons reaching for her thick leather armband. Okay, I thought that meeting with the Emperor was to take place on the morrow, which means tomorrow, which means after this letter is supposed to arrive. But now she's getting this letter after the meeting, which is a little worse. She carried the bird to its perch, and while it waited, panting, as their imperial fingers felt for the message secured in the capsule on one leg, the hawk drank mightily from the water till when she had done, then ruffled its feathers and preened, secure in her presence. A tiny part of her consciousness shared its satisfaction at the job well done, mission accomplished, and rest earned. Yet beneath it all was unease. Things were not right, even to its humble avian mind. Is that the familiar? Her fingers shook as she unfolded the thin parchment and pored over the cramped writing. Not Schmekis's bold hand. Oh no! Barenziah sat slowly, fingers smoothing the document until she prepared her mind and body to accept the disaster calmly. If disaster it would be, disaster it was. No! Last book we left off and everything was happy. She was having babies. She was with her husband. Good things were good. now she's with her babies. Her babies are in danger, and her husband might not be there, as in alive. The Imperial Guard had deserted Schmakus and joined the rebels? Bloody fluff, no! Schmakus was dead. The remaining loyal troops had suffered a decisive defeat. Schmakus was dead. The rebel leader had been recognized as King of Mournhold by the Imperial envoys. Schmakus was dead. Barenziah and the children had been declared traitors to the Empire, and a price set on their heads. Schmakus, who was dead. Schmakus was dead. Ha! Foresight! So the audience of the Empire earlier that morning had been nothing but a ruse, a charade. The Emperor must have already known, and she was just being strung along, told to stay put, take things easy. Milady Queen, enjoy the Imperial Sitter and its delights it has to offer. Do make your stay as long as you want. Her stay, her detention, her captivity, and in all, probably, her impending arrest. She had no delusions about her situations. She knew the Emperor and his minions would never let her leave the Imperial City ever again, at least not alive. Schmakus was dead. Milady? Barenziah jumped, startled by the servant's approach. What is it? The Brunton is here, milady. King Edwire. Who wants to put, before we continue on the page, who wants to put their bets that King Edwire is Schmakus? The woman added helpfully, noting Barenziah's incomprehension. She hesitated. Is there news, milady? She said, nodding towards the Nighthawk. Nothing that will not wait, Barenziah said quickly, and her voice seemed to echo an emptiness that suddenly yawned like a gaping abyss inside her. It's like nothing that cannot wait. See to the bird. She stood up, smoothed her gown, and prepared to attend on her royal visitor. She felt numb as the stone walls around her, numb to their quiescence of the night air, numb as a lifeless corpse. Schmakus was dead. Da-dum. King Edwire greeted her gravely and courteously, if a bit flumsomely. He declared to be a fervent admirer of Schmakus, who figured prominently in his family's legends. Gradually, he turned the conversation to the business of the Emperor. He inquired after details and asked if the outcome had been favorable to Mournhold. Finding her non-committal, he suddenly blurted out, Lady Queen, you must believe me. The man who claims himself to be Emperor is an impostor. I know as it sounds, but No, Barenziah said with sudden decisiveness. You are entirely correct, my Lord King. I know. Edwire relaxed into his seat for the first time, his eyes suddenly shrewd. You knew? You're not just humoring someone you might think is a madman? I assure you, my lord, I am not. She took a deep breath. And who do you surmise is this, dissembling? Is dissembling? As the Emperor. The Imperial Battle Mage, Yarg Tharn! Yeah, so he was Yarg Tharn! Look at us. That's not how, that, Yarg is 100% not that first word there. We're not changing it. My Lord King, have you, perhaps, heard of someone called the Nightingale? Yes, milady. Wasn't it? Girls Trip was so much fun. The video should just be titled, aka us sitting in the living room for 4 days straight. It was probably 3 days, but it's just footage from just that same living room, back to somewhere else, back to the living room, back to somewhere else, back to the living room, somewhere else, back to the living room, plus 30 seconds of shopping in the beginning, and cutting out like some of the later footage, because I think that we kind of cut the video somewhere in the middle of the last day. It had not really anything at the end of the last day, just because I couldn't fit it. But I still wanted to keep the last video I had taken in the breakfast nook, just because I might as well include that day as well. Good, loved it. We love a girls trip. Milady, as a matter of fact, alias. As a matter of fact, I have. My allies and I believe to him to be the one and the same man as the renegade Tharn. I knew it. Barenziah stood up and tried to mask her upheaval. The nightingale, Yargle Tharn. Oh, but the man was a demon, diabolical and insidious, and he was so very clever. He had contrived their downfall seamlessly, perfectly. Schmakus, my Schmakus! Edwire coughed definitively. Milady, we need your aid. Barenziah smiled grimly at the irony. I do believe I should be the one saying those words. But go on, please. Of what assistance may I be, my Lord King? Quickly, the monarch outlined a plot. A mage, Kia Soulmane, a late apprentice of the vile Yargle Thame, had been killed and declared a traitor by the false emperor. Yet she had still retained a bit of her powers and could still contact a few of those she had known well on the mortal plane. She had chosen a champion who would undertake and find the Staff of Chaos, which had been hidden by the traitorous sorcerer in an unknown site. This champion was to wield the staff's power to destroy Yargle Tharn, who was otherwise invulnerable, and rescue the true emperor being held prisoner in another dimension. Ta-da! However, the champion, whilst thankfully still alive, now languished in the imperial dungeons. Tharn's attention must be diverted while the chosen one gained freedom with Kaya's spirit's help. Barenziah had the false emperor's ears, and seemingly his eyes. Would she provide the necessary distraction? I suppose I could attain another audience with him, Barenziah said carefully. But would that be sufficient? I must tell you that my children and I have recently been declared traitors to the Empire. In Mournhold, perhaps, milady, and Morrowind. Things are different in the Imperial City and the Imperial Providence. The same administrative morass that makes it near impossible to obtain an audience with the Emperor and his ministers are also quite assures that you would never be unlawfully imprisoned or otherwise punished without benefit due legal process. It's like if it's not gonna help them, they're not gonna do anything about it. In your case, milady, and your children's, the situation is further exasperated, by your royal rank. As queen and heirs apparent, your persons are considered inviolable, sacrosanct. In fact, the king grinned. The imperial bureaucracy, milady, is a double-edged claymore. So, at least she and the children were safe for the time being. Then a thought struck her. My Lord King, what do you mean earlier when you said I had the false emperor's eyes? And seemingly at that, Edwards looked uncomfortable. It is whispered among the servants that Yargle Tharn kept your likeness in sort of a shrine in his chambers. Ew! Gross. I see. Her thoughts wandered momentarily to that of the insane romance of hers and the Nightingale's. She had been madly in love with him, foolish woman, and the man she had once loved had caused to be killed the man she truly did love. Loved. He was gone now. But she still couldn't bring herself to accept the fact that Schmakus was dead. But even as he is, she told himself firmly, my love is alive and remains. He would always be with her, as would the pain of living the rest of her life without him, the pain of trying to survive each day, each night, without his presence, his comfort, his love, the pain of knowing that he would never be able to see his children grow into a fair bite of adults, and would never know their father, or how brave he was, or how strong he was, or how wonderful, or how loving he was, especially when they were more good. Like, I'm not making fun of her, I promise. Like, I like 100% have her same sentiment. Like I'd be a bawling mess. I'd be an absolute mess. My face just doesn't seem to want to exist. With like a dimension, can I change this color? Alright, that gives me a little bit more dimension. Cool. And for that, and for that, all for you have done in my family, Nightingale, you must die! Does that surprise you? Edwire's words broke into her thoughts. What? Does what surprise me? Your likeness, in the Tharn's room. Oh, her features set imperturbably. Yes and no. Edwire could see her from her expression that she wished to change the subject. And he turned once again to their plans. Our chosen one may need a few days to escape, milady. Can you gain him a bit more time? You trust me in this, my lord king? Why? We are desperate, my lady. Oh, we have no choice. But even if we did, why, yes, I would trust you. I do trust you. Your husband has been good to my family over the years. The Lord Schmeckes is... Is that a descendant of Straw? Please be. Oh, please be. The Lord Schmeckes is dead. What? Barenziah related the recent events quickly and coolly. Milady, queen, but how dearful, dreadful, I'm so sorry. He's just a southern gentleman. I so hope that this southern gentleman is related to Straw, because that would fit. For the first time, Barenziah's glacial poise was shaken. In the face of sympathy, she felt an outward calm start to crumble. She gathered her composure and willed herself to stillness. Under the circumstance, milady, we can hardly ask. Nay, good my lord. Under the circumstances, I must do what I may to avenge myself upon the murderer, my children's father! A single tear escaped the fortress of her eyes. She brushed it away impatiently. In return, I ask only that you protect my orphan children as you may. Oh, bluff. She's like, I'ma go die. Can you take care of these kids? These orphaned kids? It's like, oh, ow. Edwire drew himself up. His eyes shone. Willingly, I do so pledge, most brave and noble queen. The gods of our beloved land, indeed, tomorrow itself be my witness. His words touched her absurdly, yet profoundly. I thank you from my heart and my soul, good my lord king Edwire. You have mine and my children's everlasting gratitude. And she just broke. I get it. She did not sleep that night, but sat in a chair beside her bed, hands folded in her lap, thinking deep and long into the waxing and waning of the darkness. She would not tell the children. Not yet. Not until she must. She had no need to seek out another audience with the Emperor. A summons arrived at first light. She told the children that she expected to be gone a few days, and bade them to give the servants no trouble, and kissed them goodbye. Margaia whimpered a bit, as she was bored and lonely in the imperial city. Halseth looked door, but said nothing. He was very like his father. His father, Schmeckes, was dead. At the imperial palace, Barenziah was escorted not into the great hall, but to a smaller parlor where the emperor sat at a solitary breakfast. He nodded a greeting and waved his hand towards the window. Magnificent view, isn't it? Oh, he's supposed to be, she too. Magnificent view, isn't it, darling? Barenziah stared out over the towers of the great city. It dawned on her that it was the very chamber that she'd first met Tiber Septim all those years ago. Centuries ago. Tiber Septim, another man who she had loved. What else had she loved? Schmeckes. Schmeckes was dead. Tiber Septim and Straw. She remembered the big blonde stable boy with a sudden intense affection. She had never realized it till now, but she had loved Straw. Not only had she never let him know, She had been so young then. Those had been carefree days. Halcyon days! I just learned this word today. It's like fond memories of the past. It's halcyon. Halcyon days. Before everything. Before all this. Before him. Not Schmekus, the nightingale. She was shocked in spite of herself. The man could still affect her, even now, even after all that had happened. A strong wave of inchoate emotions swept over her. When she turned back at last, Uriel Septim had vanished, and the nightingale sat in his place. You knew, he said quietly, scanning her face. You knew. Instantly, I wanted to surprise you. You might at least have pretended. Barenziah spread her arms, trying to pacify the maelstrom churning deep inside her. I'm afraid my skill at pretense is no match for yours, my liege. He sighed. You're angry. Just a little, I must admit, she said icily. I don't know about you, but I find betrayal a trifling offense. How human of you. She took in a deep breath. What do you want of me? No, you are pretending. He stood up to face her directly. You know what it is I want, and that's sweet. You want to torment me. Go ahead. I'm in your power. But leave my children alone. No, I don't want all that, Barenziah. He came near, speaking low in the old caressing voice that had sent shivers cascading through her body. The same voice that was doing the same thing to her, here and now. Don't you see? This was the only way. His hands closed on her arms. She felt her resolve fading, her disgust at him weakening. You could have taken me with you. Unbidden tears gathered in her eyes. He shook his head. I didn't have the power, but now I have it all. Mine to have, mine to share, mine to give to you. He once more waved his hand towards the window and the city beyond. All Tamal is mine, to lay at your feet, and that is only the beginning. It's too late. You left me to him. He's dead. The peasant's dead. Escaped few years. What does it matter? The children can be adopted by me, and they'll have others together, Barenziah. Oh, and what children they'll be! What things we should pass on to them! Your beauty and my magic. I have powers you haven't dreamt of, not in your most untamed imagination. He moved to kiss her. She slipped his grasp and turned away. I don't believe you. She's just like, she's in between, like, flirting to put on a show and just flirting because she kind of feels it too. And I'm like, I get you, girly. You do, you know. You're still angry, that's all. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Tell me what you want, Barenziah. Barenziah, my beloved, tell me. It shall be yours. Her whole life flashed in front of her. The past, the present, and the future still to come. Different times, different lives, different Barenziahs. Which one was the real one? Which one was the real Barenziah? Name drop! For by that choice, she would determine the shape of her fate. She made it. She knew. She knew who was the real Barenziah was, and what she wanted. A walk in the garden, my liege, she said. A song or two, perhaps. The nightingale laughed. You want to be courted. And why not? You do it so well. It's been so long. Besides, I've had the pleasure. He smiled. As you wish, my lady, Queen Barenziah. Your wish is my command. As you... He took her hands and kissed it, now and forever. And so they spent their days in courtship, walking together, talking, singing, and laughing together, while the emperor's business was left to subordinates. I'd like to see the staff, Barenziah said idly one day. I only had a glimpse of it, you recall. He frowned. Nothing would give me better pleasure, my heart's delight, but that would be impossible. You don't trust me, she pouted, but softened her lips when he leaned over for a kiss. Nonsense, my love. Of course I do. But it isn't here, he chuckled. In fact, it isn't anywhere. Is it in the green plane? The weird green plane? Is the weird green plane a part of this quest line? I think that where there is a quest that has to deal with the staff. And I think it's the weird green plane that I've come to kind of hate because the last time I was in it, I wasn't doing too well. He kissed her again, more passionately this time. You're talking in riddles again. I want to see it. You couldn't have destroyed it. You've gained wisdom since we last met. You inspired my hunger for knowledge somewhat. She stood up. The Staff of Chaos can't be destroyed, and it can't be removed from Tamal, not without the dearest of consequences to the land itself. You impress me, my love. All is true. It's not destroyed, and it's not removed from Tamal. And yet, as I said, it isn't anywhere. Can you solve the puzzle? He pulled her to him, and she leaned into his embrace. There's a greater riddle still, he whispered. How does one make one of two? How does one make one of two? That I can and will show you. Their bodies merged, limbs tangled together. Later, when they had drawn a bit apart and he lay dozing, she thought sleepingly. One of two, two of one, three of two, two of three. What cannot be destroyed or banished might be split apart, perhaps. She stood up, eyes blazing. She started to smile. The nightingale kept the journal. He scribbled entries onto it every night after quick reports from underlings. It was locked in a bureau. But the lock was a simple one. She had, after all, been a member of the Thieves' Guild in a past life, in another life, another Barenziah. One morning, Barenziah managed to sneak a quick look into it while he was occupied at his toilet. Which toilet did not used to mean the same thing that it means now, right? Toilet used to be referred to the area where you dressed up, so where you'd put on makeup, where you'd get dressed. If you went to do toilet in the morning, that was the place that you used your toiletries and kind of freshened up. So like the potty, the john, the thing that you put your poop and pee in, that was just kind of happened to be next to the place where we put the big mirror. Right? The toilet did not refer to the poop box, right? Isn't that weird? Isn't that wild? I love etymology. She discovered that the first piece of the Staff of Chaos was hidden in the ancient dwarvish mine called Fanglair, although its location was given only in the vaguest of terms. The diary was crammed with jotted events in an odd shorthand and was very hard to decipher. All Tamal, she thought, in his hands and mine, and more perhaps. And yet, for all his exterior charm, there was a cold emptiness where his heart should have been, a vacuum of which he was quite unaware, she thought. One can glimpse it now and then, when his eyes would go blank and hard. And yet, though he had a different concept of it, he yearned for happiness too, and contentment. Peasant dreams, Barenziah thought, and straw. And straw flashed before her eyes again, looking lost and sad. And then Thesis, a feline Khajiit smile, Tiber's septum, powerful and lonely, Schmakus, solid, stolidly, Schmakus, who did what ought to be done quietly and effectively. The nightingale, a riddle and a certainty, both the darkness and the light. The nightingale, who would rule all and more and spread chaos in the name of order. Barenziah got reluctant leave from him to visit her children, who had yet been told of their father's death and of the Emperor's offer of protection. She finally did, and it wasn't Edie. Margaia clung to her for what seemed an era, sobbing wretchedly, while Helseith ran off into the garden to be alone, afterward refusing all her attempts to speak to him on the subject of his father, or even let her hold him to her breast. It's like, I just want to hug you, my kid. I know. I'm so sad. I'm so sad too. Let me love on you. Edwire called on her while she was there. She told him of what she had discovered so far, explaining that she must remain a while yet to learn of more what she could. The nightingale teased her about her elderly admirer. He was quite aware of Edwire's suspicion, but he wasn't at the least bit perturbed. For no one took the old fool seriously. Just an old fool. Barenziah even managed to arrange a recollection of sorts between them. Edwire publicly recanted his misgivings, and his old friend, the Emperor, forgave him. He was afterwards invited to dine with them at least once a week. The children liked Edwire, even Halseth, who disapproved of his mother's liaison with the Emperor and consequently detested him. He had become surly and temperamental as the days passed, and frequently quarreled with both his mother and her lover. Edwire was not happy with the affair either, and Nightingale took great delight at times in openly displaying his affection for Barenziah, just to nettle the old man. They could not marry, of course, for Uriel Septim was already married. At least, not yet. The Nightingale had exiled the Empress shortly after taking the Emperor's palace, but had not dared harm her. She was given sanctuary by the temple of the One. It had been given out that she was suffering from ill health, and rumors had been circulating that by the Nightingale's agents that she had mental problems. She was a bit sad. Where am I? The Emperor's I'm not gonna defend myself. The Emperor's children had likewise been dispatched to various prisons all across Timal, disguised as schools. Every 14-year-old reading this is like, yeah! She'll grow worse in time, Nightingale said carelessly, referring to the Empress, and eyeing Barenziah's swollen breast and swelling belly with satisfaction. Oh. I don't like it. As for the children, well, life is full of hazards, isn't it? Well, be married. Your child will be my true heir. He did want the child. Barenziah was sure of that. She was far less sure, however, of his feelings for her. See, that's some demon thing to do, alright? To just, like, play someone along to try to get that baby. That could be why his eyes are so cold. I think he just wants the baby for some sacrificial purpose. Like, he's gonna sacrifice it to the Chaos Staff or something. And she's gonna lose another baby. But this would be her 4th time pregnant, which, like, that beats the odds for most Elvins, apparently. They argued continually now, often violently, usually about Halseth, whom he wanted to send away to a school in Somerset Isle, the province farthest from the imperial city. Barenziah made no effort to avoid these altercations. The Nightingale, after all, had no interest in a smooth, unruffled life, and besides, he thoroughly enjoyed making up afterwards. She's just like, ha 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 ha, we might as well fight. No reason not to. Occasionally, Barenziah would take the children and retreat to an old apartment, declaring that she would have no more to do with them, but he would always come back to fetch her. But he would always come to fetch her back, and she would always let herself be fetched back. It was ineffable, like a rising and setting of Timal's twin moons. She was 6 months pregnant before she finally deciphered the location of the last staff piece, an easy one, since the Dark Elf knew where the Mount of Dagoth-ur was. When she next quarreled with the Nightingale, she simply left the city with Edwire and rode hard to the high rock and Wayrest. The Nightingale was furious, but there was little he could do. His first assassins were rather inept, and he dared not leave the seat of power to pursue them in person. Nor could he openly declare war on Wayrest. He had no legitimate claim on her or her unborn child. True to form, the imperial city's nobility had approved of his liaison with Barenziah, and they had so many years ago to Septim, and they were glad to see her go. Wayrest was equally distrustful of her, but Edwire was fanatically loved by his prosperous little city-state, and allowances were readily made for his eccentricities. Barenziah and Edwire were married a year after the birth of her son by Nightingale. This lady is a hoe. We love her. In spite of this unfortunate fact, Edward doted on her and her children. She, in turn, did not love him, but she was fond of him, and that was something. It was nice to have someone, and Wewist was a very good place, a good place for children to grow up, while they waited and bided their time and prayed for the champion's success in his mission. Barenziah could only hope that he... Whoa, I'm getting texts. I'm getting texts on my computer. Oh, my phone's... My phone's blowing up. Cool. Okay. Mech's working on a new routine that has double sights now, and that looks cool. It's just like little handheld sights. It's so cool. The champion. Barenziah can only hope that he wouldn't take very long. Whoever this unnamed champion was. She was a dark elf, and she had all the time in the world. All the time. But no more love left to give, and no more hatred left to burn. She had nothing left, nothing but pain, and memories, and her children. She only wanted to raise her family. What's up? You're at like the very end of this. Alright? She only wanted to raise her family and provide them a good life and be left to live out of what remained of hers. She had no doubt that it was going to be a long life yet, and during it she wanted peace and quiet and serenity of her soul as well as her heart. Peasant dreams. That's what she wanted. That was what the real Barenziah wanted. That was what the real Barenziah was. Peasant dreams. Pleasant dreams. Aww. That really is the end of the book. Wow. Thanks, kids, for joining. You just got at the actual very edge, Bastion. Wild. You don't need to. I always I love a chat in the I love a drop in the chat. But I'm kind of just here to play a game. Okay, I'm pretty sure that that's a quest line. Songs of Peril. Is there Wolf Queen? Now, woo. Is there another book series that we want to go through? I mean, that's what we move on to now. We've read 2 book series. We'll probably do another one. The Book of the Dragonborn. The Madman of Reach. The Mystery, Part 4, Mystery V1. I wonder if we should do that. Whenever I looked up, like, book series to read. Biography of Barenziah! How many of these are there? Because we'll do these. We'll do these too. We just read the real Barenziah. Oh, I want to read these too. Okay, is there just 3 of them? Barenziah? Is that N been there the entire time? And I've just skipped over it? Barenziah? It's a 3-book series. Oh, we're doing this. We're doing that. I'm renaming the stream. I am renaming the stream right now. Cause like we just read that account. I I bet that she... Alright, written by Anonymous, I bet that she wrote it. Could be. Save. Hopefully these won't be as long as the real Barenziah books were. Save. Close. Cool. Cool. That's so cool. You're having 2 books about the same character? That's so cool. So cool. Alright. Let's read a book, guys. By Stern Gambage, Imperial Scribe. So cool. Late in the Second Era, a girl child, Barenziah, was born to the rulers of the kingdom of Mournhold, in what was now the imperial province of Morrowind. She was reared in all the luxury and security befitting the royal dark elven child until she reached the age 5 years old. Okay, this was not said in the other one. It never told us what age it was whenever the king and queen went off to war. I've always just assumed 6 because that felt right. Apparently 5. At the time, His Excellency Tiber Septim I, who she would then have an affair with, was the first emperor of Tamal, demanded that a descent of... The decant rulers of Morrowind yield to him and institute imperial reforms. Trusting to their vaunted magic, the Dark Elvens impudently refused until Tiber Septim's army was on the borders. An armistice was hastily signed by the now eager drummer, but not before there were several battles, one of which was laid waste to Mournhold, now called Almalexia? Whoa. Little Princess Barenziah and her nurse were found among the wreckage. The Imperial General Schmakus himself, a dark elf, suggested to Tiber Septim that the child might someday be valuable, and she was therefore placed with a royal supporter who had recently retired from the Imperial Army. Sven Adventson had been granted the title of Count upon his retirement. His fiefdom, Darkmoor, was a small town in the central Skyrim. Count Sven and his wife Egna reared the child as their own daughter, seeing to it that she was educated appropriately, and more importantly, that the imperial virtues of obedience, discretion, loyalty, and piety were instilled in the child. In short, they were not, just by the way. They were not. In short, she was made fit to take her place as a member of the new ruling class of Morrowind. False. She was a hoe. The girl Barenziah grew in beauty, grace, and intelligence. She was sweet-tempered, a joy to her adoptive parents, no, and their 5 younger sons, who loved their elder sister, no. Other than her appearance, she differed from other girls of her class only that she was a strong empathy for the woods and the fields, and that she won't escape her household duties to wander there, at times. Is that how we're going to... No, okay, 16th birthday. I was like, are we going to mention that part? She was happy and content until her 16th year, when a wicked orphan stable boy, who she had befriended out of pity, told her that he had overheard conspiracy between her guardian, Court Sven, and a Red Guard visitor to sell her as a concubine in Rihad, as no Nord of Brenton would marry her on account for her black skin, and no dark elf would ever have her because of her foreign upbringing. Whatever shall I do? The poor girl said, weeping and trembling. She did not, as she had been brought up in innocence and trust, and it never occurred to her that her friend, the stable boy, would lie to her. He would not. That's what it's gonna be. It's just reading the book and me just disagreeing. The wicked boy, who was called Straw, had said that she must run away if she valued her virtue, and that he would come with her as her protector. Sorrowfully, Barenziah agreed to this plan, and that very night she disguised herself as a boy, and the pair escaped to a nearby city of Whiterun. After a few days there, they managed to get jobs as guards for the disreputable merchant caravan. This is the biography of the the book series we just read about Barenziah. This is amazing. All right, to like see an outside perspective, I'm pretty sure the other book series was probably written by Barenziah. That makes sense. Or Barenziah. It's too late to change it. This is amazing. I'm having so much fun. It's like, I know things about this world, and now you're lying to me. This is so cool. I'm so glad that I read this book series second, though. All right, because if I read this one first, I don't think that I would remember the details to then see them changed in the second one. I'm so glad I read the real Barenziah before the biography. The caravan, disreputable merchant caravan. The caravan was headed east by the side roads, in a medalist attempt to elude the lawful trolls charged on the imperial highways. Thus the pair eluded pursuit until they reached the kingdom of Riften, where they ceased their travels for a time. They felt safe in Riften, close as it was to the Morrowind border, so that dark elves were enough of a common sight. And that was so quick! Oh, please. Oh, this is so exciting. Barenziah 2. The first volume of this series told the story of Barenziah's orphan heiress to the throne of Mournhold until her father rebelled against His Excellency Tebersumtum I and brought ruin to the province of Morrowind. Thanks largely to the benevolence of the Emperor, the child Barenziah was not destroyed with her parents, but reared by Court Sven of Darkmoor, a loyal imperial trustee. She grew up in a beautiful and pious child, trustful of her guardian's care. This trust, however, was exploited by a wicked orphan stable boy at Court Sven's estate, whose lies and fabrications tricked her into fleeing Darkmoor with him when she turned 16. After many adventures on the road, they settled in Riften, a Skyrim city near the Morrowind borders. The stable boy Straw was not altogether evil. He loved Barenziah in his own selfish fashion, and deception was the only way he could think of the clement possession of her. She, of course, felt only friendship towards him. Just like half true, but in the wrong way. But he was hopeful that she would gradually change her mind. He wanted to buy a small farm and settle down into a comfortable marriage, but at this time his earnings were barely enough to feed and shelter them. After only a short time in Riften, Straw fell in. No. A, they were not friend zoned. They were freaking like rabbits whenever she wasn't disguised as a boy. B, he did really like her, and she didn't like him. So that's that. Straw fell in with a bold, villainous Khajiit thief named Therius. No, he did not. Who proposed that they rob the Imperial Commander's house in the central part of the city. Therius had said that he had a client, a traitor to the Emperor, who would pay well for any information that they could gather there. Barenziah happened to overhear this plan and was appalled. She was not. She stole away from their rooms and walked the streets of Riften in desperation, torn between her loyalty to the Emperor and her love for her friends. She did not. In the end, loyalty to the Empire prevailed over this personal friendship, and she approached the commander's house, revealed her true identity, and warned him of her friend's plans. She did not. The commander listened to her tale, praising her courage, and assured her that no harm would come to her. He was none other than General Schmakus, who had been scurrying the countryside in search of her since her disappearance, and had just arrived in Riften, hot in pursuit. He took her into his custody and informed her that, so far from being sent away, Far from being sent away to be sold, she was to be reinstated as Queen of Mournhold as soon as she turned 18. Until that time, she was to live with the Septim family in the newly built imperial city, where they would learn something of government, where she would learn something of government and be presented at the imperial court. At the imperial city, Barenziah befriended the Emperor Tiber Septim during the middle years of his reign. Tiber's children, particularly his eldest son and heir Delgus, who was the father of Dotema, came to love her as a sister. They did not. The ballads of the day praised her beauty, chastity, wit, and learning. On her 18th birthday, the entire imperial city turned out to watch her farewell procession preliminary to her return to her native land. Which means that miscarriage happened before she was 18. Forced miscarriage happened before she was 18. Oh, fluff and woof. Sorrowful as they were at her departure, all knew that she was ready for the glorious destiny as sovereign of the kingdom of Mournhold. Wolf, give me this third book. I need it right now. In the second volume of this series, it was told how Barenziah was kindly welcomed to the newly constructed imperial city of the Emperor Tiber Septim and his family, who treated her as a long-lost daughter during her almost 1-year stay. After several happy months of learning of her duties as a vassal queen under the emperor, the imperial general Schmakus escorted her to Mournhold, where she took up her duties as queen of her people under his wise guidance. Gradually, they came to love one another and were married. She just kind of said, yeah, sure, I'll marry you, and crowned in the splendid ceremony in which the emperor himself officiated. After several hundred years of marriage, a son, Helseth, was born of the royal couple amid celebration and joyous prayer. Although it was not publicly known at the time, it was shortly before this blessed event that the Staff of Chaos had been stolen from its hidden place deep in the Mournhold mines by a clever, enigmatic bard known only as the Nightingale. 8 years after Helseth's birth, Barenziah bore a daughter, Morgia, named after Schmakus' mother, and the royal couple's joy seemed complete. At last, shortly after that, relations with the empire mysteriously deteriorated, leading to much civil unrest in Mournhold. After fruitless investigations and attempt at reconciliation, in despair, Barenziah took her young children and traveled to the imperial city herself to seek out the ear of Emperor Uriel Septim the Seventh. Schmakus remained in Mournhold to deal with the grumbling peasants and annoyed nobility, and do what he could to starve off the impeding insurrection. During her audience with the emperor, Barenziah, though through her magical arts, came to realize, to her horror and dismay, that the so-called emperor was an impostor, none other than the bard Nightingale who had stolen the Staff of Chaos. Exercising great self-control, she concealed this realization from him. That evening, the news came that Schmakus had fallen in battle with the revolting peasants of Mournhold, and that the kingdom had been overtaken by the rebels. Barenziah, at this point, did not know where to seek help, or from whom. The gods that delightful night were evidently looking out for her, as if the red dress of her loss. The king, Edwire of High Rock, an old friend of Uriel Septim and Schmakus, came by on a social call. He comforted her, pledged his friendship, and furthermore confirmed his suspicions that the emperor was indeed a fraud, and none other than Yarg Tharn, an imperial battle mage, and one of Nightingale's many alter egos. Tharn had supposedly retired into seclusion from public work and installed his assistant, Rhea Salmain, in his stead. That helpless assistant was later put to death under mysterious circumstances. Supposedly a plot implicating her had been uncovered, and she was summarily executed. However, her ghost had appeared to Edwire in a dream. That's a new detail, and revealed to him that the true emperor had been kidnapped by Thon and imprisoned on an alternate dimension. Tharn had then used the Staff of Chaos to kill her when she attempted to warn the Elder Council of his nefarious plot. Together, Edwire and Barenziah plotted against the false Emperor's confidence. Meanwhile, another friend of Rhea's, known only as the Champion, who apparently possessed great, a bit then untapped potential, was incarcerated at the Imperial dungeons. However, she had access to his dreams, and there she told him to bide his time until she could devise a plan that would effect his escape. Then he could begin on his mission to unmask the imposter. Who had access to his dreams? And who is he? Is the Champion the he? And is Rita in his dreams? Or are they saying that Barenziah had access to the Champion's dreams? Because that's not true. Barenziah continued to charm and eventually befriend the... what is that 3 supposed to be? Is that supposed to be a Z? Erat's Emperor. By contriving to read his secret diary, she learned that he had broken the Staff of Chaos into 8 pieces. Ooh, that wasn't told. And hid them in the far-flung locations scattered across Tamel. She managed to obtain a copy of the key of Rita's friend's cell and bribed the guard to leave it there as if by accident. That's new information. Their champion, who is the name unknown even to Barenziah and Edwire, made his escape through the shift gate Rhea had opened in an obscure corner of the Imperial dungeons using his already failing powers. The champion was free at last and almost immediately went to work. It took Barenziah several more months to learn of the hiding place of all 8 staff pieces through snatches of overheard conversation and rare glances at Tharn's diary. Once she had the vital information, however, which she communicated to Rita forthwith, who was in turn passed it on to the champion, she and Edwire lost no time. They fled to Wayrest, his ancestral kingdom in the province of Hyrok, where they managed to fend off the sporadic efforts of Tharn's henchmen to haul them back to the Imperial City, or at the very least obtain revenge. Tharn, whatever else might be said of him, was no one's fool, save perhaps Barenziah's, and he concentrated most of his efforts towards tracking down and destroying the champion. Tharn. The Emperor got it. All is now known. No. The courageous, indefatigable, and forever nameless champion was successful in reuniting the 8 sundered pieces of the Staff of Chaos. With it, he destroyed Tharn and rescued the true Emperor, Uriel Septim VII, following what has come to known as the Restoration. A grand state memorial service was held for Schmaicus at the Imperial City, befitting of a man who served the Septim dynasty for so long and so well. Barenziah and the good King Edwire had come to care deeply for one another. She did not. During their trials and adventures, and were married in the same year, shortly after their flight from the Imperial City. Her 2 children had come from her previous marriage with Schmaicus, remained with her, and a regent was appointed to rule Mournhold in her absence. Aww. And this doesn't mention her baby that she had with Tharn. Up to the present time, Queen Barenziah has been in Wayrest. Is she still alive? Oh, she was alive while this book was being written. Okay. Has been in Wayrest with Prince Halseth and Princess Morgia. She plans to return to Mournhold after Edwire's death. Since he was... Oh, okay. So this is still like a while ago. I think? I've been putting that it's been like 500 years since her 500... Since the real Barenziah was written. When was this book written? Who's the current emperor? Is she still alive? Because I would love to meet her. Good morning, Duran. Welcome, welcome. You're just like at the end of our book series, but we're glad you're here. She plans to return to Mournhold after Edwire's death. Since she's already elderly when they wed, she knows that the events, alas, could not be far off as the elves reckon time. Until then, she shares in the government of the kingdom of Wayrest with her husband, and seems glad to consent with her final quiet and happy, unremarkable life. Okay. Is she still alive, and can we meet her? I'm going to the Google. We're gonna find this out. Because if we can meet her, 100... Is Barenziah still alive during Skyrim? Wait. So Barenziah is still alive. I did the math and she would be 638 years old. The Dark Elves are approximately anyone besides me. Hope she turns up in DLC. The real Barenziah states that elves live... Okay. Can we meet Barenziah's family? Is Barenziah alive? Okay, I don't know if we can meet. Quest about Barenziah Skyrim. If there's some quest that can talk about bringing the unusual stones of Barenziah are unusual gems found in Skyrim. Finding one of these unlocks a new meticulous quest. Bringing the unusual gems to an appraiser. One of these stones must be identified by one of several appraisers. Stones of Barenziah? What is the Stones of Barenziah quest? And how does that relate to her? After the appraiser is revealed, 24 of Stones of Barenziah exist and activates no stone unturned. The stone quest, they cannot be removed from inside until the entire set is made. Many of these are we got 24 of them. Found while completing jobs for the Thieves Guild. Since stones are the quest items, do not take any spell. No time. You're asked to recover the crown of Barenziah from the cave? The drive with a passive effect, the ability to Prowler's Prophet, which increases the chance of multiple precious stones in chest. Okay. Alright, so like not as cool. But there is a Barenziah quest that like could happen. Oh, my camera's off, which means that it's about time to shut down. Okay. Ah, that's so great! I'm so glad we got to read that. I kind of want to read that series, but I kind of feel like I want to do a Dance and Fire series. That might be next. Okay, let's go. I'm kind of feeling, though, it's like we've been reading books for so long that, like, it's kind of just, like, questy time. And your mom's a scholar here. Like, this run-through has just become a scholar run-through, maybe? Oh, I've got accidental books in here. I need to put the books that I cannot... all the books that I can put away, I need to put them away. I thought that we already did the seducer stuff. Yeah, Goner's Last Wishes, that's like a track down a thing, right? What kind of quest disease do we have? Hitting the books. Yeah, we've done all of these. Why is this not on like your you've done it quest list? Defeat Keel. Ooh. The ritual is asking me to collect these vessels. Oh yeah, that's a guy we couldn't defeat, so we just kind of left it. Angler acquaintances. Ah, it's a fishing one. Speak with the dark garb, way of the voice. Red garb woman. Owner of the golden claw. Obtain madness ore. Oh yeah, so this is just a lot of fun. Find the real eagle's eye. Find out more dark gold. Yeah, okay. Alright, do I have anything that I want? Like, apparel-wise? We've got this. We've got Albany. We love ebony. Ah, but we love Nordic carved. Nordic carved is so hot. So hot right now. Like, this is good stuff. Maybe I just, like, walk outside. I'll take a look at the map. I'll see if there's anything interesting. I have been streaming for 2 hours. So, like, it could be a good time to get off. But, like, my friends are here. Duran is here. I can't just leave Duran. I'll take a look, see if anything interests me. If nothing genuinely interests me, I'm gonna go outside and go watch TV. And by TV, I mean someone on YouTube doing a playthrough of, whatchamacallit, Dark Souls? He's not good at it, though. So that's the fun part. Ah, because this is Riften. That was mentioned in the book. Okay, I can barely see that name. We are gonna go to it. Let's go take ourselves a little bit of a walk. This is just like more east than Riften, which is just like going towards Morrowind. It's like that's what we were talking about in the book. I don't want to join the Thieves Guild, all right? Even though we love Barenziah, I don't want to join the Thieves Guild. I never really do. I don't want to become a pickpocketer. It's just that I don't. It's not my vibe. I do want to go up. Oh, I've already gotten that dragon's head. All right, we're going this way. Fancy a bit of an explore with me, eh? And if we happen to see any dragon spaces on the way, ooh, we can kill. What is that? Oh, it's an ice wall. Come here. Okay. Oh, there's another one. Come here. Oh, whoa. Ah, I can't hear my game. Can you guys hear any, sound of the game? Do I need to adjust that for you guys? Ow! I should probably quick save before jumping down like that. It's a little dumb of me. But who said I was smart? Just the PSAT and the SAT and the ACT and the computer science degree I got? Just those things? No, well, they lied. Your mom's so strong. Come here. I'll take that. And, oh, did I just take a... I didn't need that. I meant to take arrows. I don't need a bow. I take gold. I take lockpicks. I'll take that. Alright. And just kind of slowly, I'll put whatever is kind of like on the way on the map as well. Whew. That's not what I meant to do. I want to run. How do I run? No, that's magic. There you go. That's what I thought that button was. I must have misclicked when I was trying to run earlier and accidentally hit magic. Ooh, do we got a road to travel by? We love a road to travel by. It's the scenic route. It's the route you're supposed to take. We loves it. Here we go. Click, click. Lone horse. Lone horse that I will steal. Who are you? You're a wood elf. You're rare. You're the Nightingale's mother was supposed to be a wood elf. Do you have glass arrows on you? Honey. Hot. Good stuff. Can I take your horse? Yes, I can. That I will. Are we in Wood Elf territory? Because, like, as we get to Morrowind, we get to the Elves territory. I think we're going in the direction of Morrowind, and that's so cool. Why did we suddenly get way closer to the horse? Why? There's a thing over there. How? Is that thing over there a lie? Do I have to get to it with like a special thing? Is that like a special quest thing? I just wanted to do a bit of an explore. Why everything gotta go so calm? And that's just like sheer rock going that way. Okay, well. Maybe just the horse can't go that way. Let me jump off the horse. Ah! I'm so upset. Everything is bad. That's so mean. Fort Downguard. Okay, well. We haven't actually been to Riften. Is there anything else that like a dragon's head that I haven't like gone towards? I'm here to raid a dragon's head. I've unleashed nothing around here. Or I've explored nothing around there. We could go to this guy. The Lover's Stone. Sure. Let's do that. Just want to do a bit of an explorer, right? I want to put some stuff on the map. Because more things on the map means I'm a cooler person who's been to places and done stuff, like put stuff on a map. I gotta change my marker. I feel like I should be able to change the color of my marker, right? Or are they always just cyan no matter what you do? It's weird that it picked cyan. Because like I don't think there's anything else in like the GUI of Skyrim that's just like that shade of cyan, right? Okay, is that symbol like a place where you can enter like the dwarven ruins? That symbol's giving me dwarven ruins entrance vibes. Let's go, put it on the map. It's vaguely in the direction of where we want to go. Man, those are tall mountains. Are those like the mountains? Yeah, those are like the "This is the end of the world" mountains. They're as tall as frick. Okay, so we're kind of getting way off where we go. Where is this thing? Oh, is it this? Dragon! Right? What? You guys saw a dragon fly by, right? There was definitely the shadow of a dragon on the floor. Where is this? Where am I looking? Yeah, I'll accept. I'll pick. You saw that. Yeah, there is one. I was not making it up. I meant to jump. Where is this thing? Come on. Come on. Fine, I'll go around slightly. Dragon! Yeah, I'll get to you in a second. I'm trying to fill out my map. I'm a cartographer, sir. Let me live my dream. Yo, where the bloody fluff is this thing? The only thing I can think of is to try to, like, go up this mountain here. Like, it's a bit steep, but, like, I feel like it's easier to drop down on it. Is this where I'm supposed to go? I sure hope the dragon doesn't fly off. I don't think they've ever just flown off before. But maybe this is the first time it does. Okay. Yeah, alright. This is not Happy Days. I just want to... Maybe if I go at it from the other direction. Maybe I gotta go fight the dragon first. Maybe, hey dragon, can you give me a lift? My controllers are rumbling like you're somewhere nearby. However, I don't even see you as a dot on my map. Are you real? Is that stone I'm trying to get to? Yeah. I'll be back. Oh, okay. There it is. I thought it was much closer than that. That explains why I couldn't find it. Yeah, these look dwarvenish. There we go. And then those could be the outcroppings of like a dragon tomb. Let's go obtain that RQ. Yeah, I didn't realize that my sound was off while I was reading the book. But like every so often whenever I plug in my Elgato, it turns off the sound. Okay, well, so if this is not a dragon's tomb, like I thought it was, what is this place? Yeah, I'll rate it. Oh, for it's 10 gold. And it's trapped chest. Forging light armor, sure. Anything here of note? Other than that one book? I don't think so. The cute little dagger. Is that literally it? It's okay. Seems like a lot of work to put into a place that is not very useful to anyone. So that dragon flew off. You know that thing that we didn't want to happen? Yeah, it happened. Before I fall off this mountain. Let me do a quick save. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Survived it. 'Cause I'm cool. Foot down. Down. Nice. Oh, what is this? This looks like a thing. Okay, maybe it's just like the entrance to that thing. Yeah, we just got some places that we can raid. Every so often I think that I hear a... I can faintly hear the game. And I'm still getting like dragon music. I think. But not dragon. But bear! But bear! Bear, go away. It's like I'm trying to scare off the bear by swinging at it. Could this be more dangerous than bear? Yes. I've been here before. Maybe? I've confused the bear. Aha. Oh, please! It's behind a waterfall! Yes! Finally. We love us something behind a waterfall. I feel like I might have gone this way before. Or at least I was somewhere by a waterfall whenever I was fighting a bunch of bandits at one time. And then I think I decided those bandits were too hard, so I left. Oh, people. So yeah, the only way to play this game is like straight up ADHD. Khajiit! Hi, I'm Khajiit!
The warm sand of elsewhere is far away from here.
I've heard you've been running into trouble on the road?
It is all in this note.
All this in notes. I'll read the note.
Need something?
Do you need... I've abandoned my quest, by the way. I would do anything to help a Khajiit out. Help a homie Khajiit out. Get ready so I can read the top line, please. Locate the Saints Bandit Camp. I think I already destroyed the Saints Bandit Camp. The roads have been unkind to this one, plagued by the outlaw on the route from Whiterun to Markov. Guards travel with Raksad, yes, but they're ill-equipped to deal with one such as this. They wield strange golden weapons and wear elven armor. Raksad has read such things only in stories. Their encampments are found in the West Northern Battleshin Pass. Each time they are set upon us, they shout, "The Saints would like to browse your wares today!" The brutes steal mostly trinkets and oddities, no matter how cheap this one knows them to be. Then they allow Rixad to go on his way. Rixad has not yet fought back. While it has harmed one's coin's purse, it's not worth a life. Rixad has heard of another gang patrolling the road farther north, calling themselves the Seducers. Yeah, we've read a bit about this already. They are known for their mercenary dark armor. Skyrim grows more perilous by the day. They are known to camp along the road of the West Fork Castra. This one would pay handsomely to anyone who could help. Rixad fears that anyone who might come to him in the hands of these worrisome pests. I think I've already taken out the Saints.
I hope that you will come to do business with us.
What you got for sale? Can I sell some stuff to you? Khajiit.
Take a look.
Yeah, Khajiit. What you got? Ooh, anything better than the things I have? Ooh. Not quite. Anything I could just... Anything that looks good. A pickpocketing, cute. Of restoration, not as good as mine. Golden necklace. Just a little perouge. Ooh, steel plate armor. If only mine wasn't already great. You got any just straight up health? Oh, I can use one of those. Minor magicka, plentiful stamina, extreme and vigorous stamina. I'll take it all. Food, ingredients? I don't have any chokeberry. I don't have any of this. Scrib gel, you got weird stuff, man. Saints and Seducers, I'll take a book. And I'll take another book. Mostly just for the fun of it, I think. You've got some good stuff in your wares, my dear. My cool sir. Do I have anything I want to sell you? Not really. Got a plate. You want a plate? Am I holding on to things that I haven't been able to sell yet? Yes. Oh, but they're so cool. I was supposed to put that up. Oh, I was supposed to enchant that, and that, and that. Some of these I'm just like supposed to enchant first. I'll sell, and sell. And I think I want to sell, like I think I picked up someone's bow by accident that I didn't want to do. Keep the fishing pole. Cross arrows. There we go. Staff of Mage Light. Yeah, I don't need that. Can you take that off me, sir? Do I have any poisons on me? Cause I don't need poisons. Never have. Good. All of that looks great. Yep. All right. Thank you, Khajiit.
May the sun keep you warm.
Please come and browse.
Please come and browse our goods. I love it. Okay. All right. Off we go. Yeah, I've run into the Saints and the Seducers. They kind of seem just like two rival gangs. I really hope that I uncovered like some love story between them, some Romeo Juliet rum story between the Seducers and the Saints. It's so cute. There we go. All right, so we're still got. Are we farther away than when we started? I'm not sure. I feel like we're barely closer. We might be halfway though. I'm not quite sure when we started out, where we started out. Because as I'm going, I'm putting new things on the map. I'm not quite sure which things were already there and what I had teleported to versus just the new stuff that we put on. Alright, I'm gonna get to this lover stone and then I'm off for the night. So ye who are holding on just for holding on's sake, I will release you from your duty soon. Mining camp. This is good whenever we finally go into... Who are... Horseborn looter. Horseborn looter. Down. Sworn headdress. I'll take your arrows. Has this mine been taken over by looters? I'll deal with it. And I'll take your gold. And your flawless garnet too. While we're at it. You barely took one, sir. You have no... There's a reason they did not give you any money. Up this path we go. Blue mountain flower, good for making health potions, which are the only ones we mostly care about. The rest we just seem to find easily everywhere else. This is where I need to go. Let me just take a shortcut up this mountain. To the Lover's Stone, which I don't think I'm married, so I don't think it matters. Apparently, if you do get married, then like your spouse gives you gold. Hi, bear. I'm bored. I'll fight you. And win. Maybe your bear pelt, and maybe your bear claws, because that's an ingredient. Okay, what does the Lover's Stone do? I think I have the Mage Stone on right now. That's my restorationist though, hi. Aw, no harvesty berries. What you do? What do you do? All skills improve faster? Except science. All skills improve faster. That's just good. Why would you not pick that? Hey, Fear. Wow. Woof. Fear? Out of everyone who's joined today, at unfortunate timing, it is you. It's you. Now I feel obligated to like stay and do something. Is there anything I can like raid real quick that I haven't raided yet? What is there anything quick I can raid? There's Reach Water. Yeah, let's go find out what's behind the waterfall. All right, that seems like a quick and easy cave. I don't think there's gotta put too much behind a waterfall. Right? Right, game? Yeah, sure hope so. I sure hope that my mic is plugged in. Hopefully better sound quality than me staying like 12 feet away from it, which was what I was doing for a while. Which is not really how mics work. They work real best whenever you're up on it, talking into it, like a very gentle little babe. Hello, class. Aren't you glad that I can read books like this? That was absolutely something. You gotta do, I don't care what you do, just do something. Thanks, Fear. Ooh. There you go. Click, click, click. Here, these mushrooms are for you. As well as Gunpie Mushroom Garden. Look it up online. Also, link in the description of a different video somewhere on the channel that is just like titled Gunpie Mushroom Garden. I produced a card game. Hi. I don't really know how to promote it. Haven't decided how to do that. Produced a card game. Love it. In love with it. Working on another one. Sure would like to do that for a living. Don't know how to break into the industry. That's all. That looks like something I could mine. Can I not? Oh, I could. Just so many shrooms. So many shrooms around here. I feel like I'm not allowed to leave any of them behind, though. Okay. Have I been in here before? I feel like I've been in here before. But I have... Ooh! Emerald Dragon's Claw! Let this place be forgotten forever. Let it be struck from the rolls of history. Let it never be spoken by man or mare. Let its very name be lost to the ages. Ye who enter here know this place is sealed at a great price. Honor those who perished here. Turn back and leave them their rest. No. I really said, oh, there's not gonna be much behind the waterfall. It's just gonna be a cute little treasure. We're getting on an emerald quest. Sure. For you, Fear. For you, Fear alone. Anyone else who I promised that you can be let go of your duties, I let go of your duties now. Bear, fish, well, bear, whale, snake. Bear. Whale. Snack. I'm a snack. We love an emerald claw. I spent forever trying to figure out how to use these things. You just have to look at it, right? Like, you can see very small on it, and I know there's a way to, like, inspect items closer up. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Do I have 4 claws on me? Is that why so many of them just opened? Like, it's like I paid you with my showing up and saying hello to you and reminding you. Oh, I feel like I need 1 more claw for this. I don't feel like I have the ivory claw. That's what it is. Oh, but so cool, right? Alright, how easy is it to obtain the ivory claw? I might be able to get out of my nightly duties still. Let me go check the internets. If it's just like a very quick thing, I might do it. I might do it. Skyrim, ivory claw. Claws found in the remains of this pile while investigating the this and the that. It is used to open the door in this 2 treasure rooms located, as well as the door of that. Found this. The Quest Forbidden Legends. Walkthrough can be found while reading a copy of Lost Legends. Ooh. Or the Ancient Edict of the Reachwater, or simply by finding Darius in his camp and reading his notes, investigating the crypt. Okay. So there's an ivory quest we could go grab. I think it's the very last one to open this door to. But I'm gonna call it a night. You know what? I stayed here for 4 seconds longer. I feel like I did my duty. Thanks for joining me tonight. My camera's off again. Thanks for joining me tonight. This camera is slow, but at least it's not off. So farewell in 10 FPS. Good night, friends. Good night, Gilbits. Until next time, God bless, and I'll see you in a nunnery, okay? Sleep well. Good night. Let me save in the game before I forget to do that. No, stop. Stop jumping. Quick save.